Hello world and welcome back to another episode of Botania, where today we're going to be covering every single trinket you can get inside of the mod. All the information we're going to be covering today can be found within the trinkets and accessories section, and we're going to be covering everything that isn't in green as we haven't progressed enough to get some of the items that are used inside of the green, such as the Gaia Spirit. Starting off with the Manaseer Monocle. The Manaseer Monocle is made with 3 gold nuggets, 1 mana steel ingot and a mana glass. Now what this does is allow you to give an AoE effect on flowers as well as you being able to see mana burst. So if I right click this here, it's then going to be put inside of my bauble slot. It's actually going to go on the charm section, and then if you look at a flower, it's actually going to tell you its AoE effect. So we looked at all of these functional flowers in the previous episode, so I highly recommend you go check that out. Before we continue, let's cover the Trinket Case. The Trinket Case is made with 1 chest, 3 mana ingots and 1 gold ingot. This is essentially going to allow you to hold multiple trinkets in one place. Now I've already pre-made this Trinket Case here, and inside I have got a series of trinkets. As well as that, you can hold some tools from Botania such as the rods, but we'll be covering that sort of stuff in a later episode. Moving on, we've got the Band of Mana. The Band of Mana is made with 4 mana steel ingots and a mana tablet. Now what this is going to basically be is a wearable mana tablet, meaning anything that you use in your inventory that requires a mana tablet, you can now save a space by having your Band of Mana inside of a bauble slot. Now this works the exact same way as the mana tablet. If you just throw it into the pool, you have it set to actually sit inside and then it will start filling up. Sometimes there's a bit of a bug, as you see I threw it down there and it's actually disappeared, but as you can see when I pick it back up, it is slowly filling. And there we go, that's pretty much full. So I'm going to quit that there, and this is going to go into our ring slot, as you see here. Now something to use with the Band of Mana is the Band of Aura. Band of Aura is made with 4 mana steel ingots and 1 rune of mana. Now what this does is going to slowly generate mana and trickle it into your Band of Mana. Or it can actually fill any item that requires mana just a little bit, but it's most likely going to go straight into your Band of Mana first. This also will go into your ring slot inside here. Next up, we've got the Benevolent Goddess Charm. This is made using 2 pink petals, a mana diamond, a rune of water, and a rune of spring. Now if I take this and equip it, this is going to be placed down in our charm slot here. Now what this does is going to use mana from your mana band or mana tablet, and it's going to prevent blocks from being broken from explosions. Now you will still get damage from these explosions, but when you are nearby, it will stop the blocks from actually just being destroyed. Lovely stuff. Next up, we have the Cirrus Amulet. This is made with 4 mana infused string, 1 rune of air, 1 rune of autumn, and a mana steel ingot. Now, when you actually equip this here, it will go into your necklace slot, as you see here, and this is going to allow you to double jump. Now, I've got to try and not fly since I'm in creative mode, but as you can see, it does actually let you double jump. Now, it says in the book that it actually negates all vertical momentum and thus damage from falling, but don't make this confuse you. This doesn't stop you from actually getting full damage. If I go into survival now and jump from here and do a double jump, as you can see, I still take damage. You might be able to make your way, give yourself a good timing in order to do it, but it'll be a little bit difficult as you've got to do it close to the ground, as you see there. So if you jump from great heights, make sure you're on the double jump. Now something I haven't covered before is the mana infused string. This is made very simply, and you probably have already figured out. It's by dropping string into a mana pool, and this will give you infused string. Next up, we've got the Invisibility Cloak. This is using 4 mana glass, 1 mana pearl, 2 prismarine crystals, and 2 pieces of white wool. Now this is obviously, as it says on the tin, it's gonna make you turn invisible at the cost of mana from your mana band or mana tablet. So if I right click this here and then I go into third person, you can see I am now invisible. It flickers a little bit in your inventory, so if you're using JEI, it's a little bit bad. Also, it flickers in the top right hand corner up here, but that's okay. Now, the good thing about invisibility, it works the exact same as the potion. No mobs will actually be able to see you unless you put this on while they're already triggered onto you. Moving on, we next have the Sojourner's Sash. This uses 4 pieces of leather, 1 rune of air, 1 rune of earth, and a mana steel ingot. Now what this does is going to give you a buff to speed, jump height, and full damage resistance. So if I equip this here, it is going to go down here at the very bottom here into your belt section. Now as you can see, I am running just a little bit faster, I can jump a little bit higher, and as it says, I will negate just a little bit of full damage. However, there is a counterpart to the Sojourner's Sash, and that is the Planestrider Sash. This is one I actually prefer. This uses the Sojourner's Sash in order to be created. It also requires 1 empty map, a piece of sugar, and 2 pasture seeds. We cover pasture seeds in the previous episode. Now, what this does is, as it says, it's an alternative to the Sojourner's Sash, and it works very similarly. They can't be both equipped together, otherwise they'll cancel each other out. But if we put ourselves on this Planestrider Sash, it's going to give the same effects. However, it's going to give you the speed effect over time. So you'll get jump height, as you can see, just by default, and resistance to full damage. But if I start running here, over time, I'm going to slowly get faster and faster and faster. And this won't really stop until you reach, peak speed that Minecraft allows you. But also it will stop as soon as you stop moving. So you want to keep going for as long as time. Also, one other thing, both of these sashes, they actually give you a step up effect. So if you run with the Planestrider Sash or the Sojourner Sash, you will get a step up effect as well. Now you can do this left and right, and you can even just very briefly hold back, and just to slow you down, it won't stop your momentum fully, but if you hold it, then you will have to start again. Next we have the Pyroclast Pendant. This is made with 4 infused string again, 1 mana steel ingot, 1 rune of fire, and 1 rune of summer. Now when you right click this goes into your necklace slot, the exact same as our Cirrus Amulet. Now what this does is it's going to extinguish you from being on fire. So when I go into this fire here, I will be set on fire, but the moment I go out of fire, I will no longer be on fire. Now this doesn't stop you from taking damage when you're in the fire, but as soon as you're out, you'll be extinguished. So this doesn't help you from getting no damage from fire, but this is probably going to be a good amulet for when you're fighting blazes. Moving on, we have the Ring of Chordata, or Chordata, however you want to pronounce it. This is made with 4 mana steel ingots, 1 Heart of the Sea, a rune of water, a puffer fish, and a raw cod. Now this is going to go into your ring slot, which is somewhere down here, just below your band of mana or band of aura. Now what this does is going to allow the user to actually see better underwater, mine faster, swim better, and also breathe continuously underwater. So if we go over here into our little pond here and go into survival mode, we will go inside and we can see that we now have water breathing. We swim a little bit faster, it's a lot easier to see. Now I don't have a tool here, but you will get a little bit of no mining fatigue while underwater. Next up we have the Ring of Correction. This is made with 4 mana steel ingots, 1 clay block, and this is going to basically allow you to swap your tools for the required block. Now what do I mean by this? First we're going to need some tools that actually require mana. Again, this is going to go in your ring slot. Now inside of Botania there are these tools here. We have got the mana shovel, the mana steel pickaxe, and the mana axe. Now we know that these use mana because they don't actually have a durability. They will break over time, but they can be healed by using mana. So if we have our Ring of Correction here, that's going to survival as well. If we have a Ring of Correction here and we start just using the shovel, eventually when we get down to stone, it's going to automatically switch to stone, and again it's going to automatically switch to shovel. Now these don't have to be on your hotbar, we could have these in our inventory and they will automatically change, giving us more spaces on our actual hotbar here. Now again, this works as well if you're, say, with trees. So we are just mining away on some dirt and then we are using the axe. Now this also works with the sword for actually damaging mobs, as well as using a mana steel shears for, say, leaves. Now something to note is that all the mana steel tools, they are going to be giving you the same sort of effects as the iron tier level wood of tools. However, something it says in the book as well is that if you want to use your shears to negate tripwires from being set off, the mana shears will actually set off tripwires, so use an iron pair for that. Next up, we have the Ring of Dexterous Motion. This is made with 4, again, mana steel ingots, 1 rune of air, and an emerald. Now, what this is going to allow you to do is dodge in any direction that you actually double tap in. So if I equip this now, again, it's going to go into our ring slot. And if I double tap right, it will make us jump right, double tap left, and so on and so forth. Now, there is a little bit of a cooldown between each type of dodge. So I'm dodging now, and I can't dodge again. See, there's a little bit cooldown if I just keep spamming. And now this does work in conjunction with your Planestrider Sash. If you keep running forever and ever, eventually getting up to speed, you can actually dodge left and right as well, and this will not actually slow you down in any way, shape or form. In fact, you can even dash backwards and keep your momentum ever so slightly. Next up, we have the Ring of Magnetization. You'll probably guess what this one does already. Now, this is created with 4 mana steel ingots and a mana lens of magnetizing. Now, what this does is obviously we equip this into our ring slot, and if we throw some items on the ground, they will eventually start being magnetized to us. Now, when you do throw items on the ground while wearing your Ring of Magnetization, your blocks won't automatically get sucked into you. There is a delay of several seconds. Now, if I start going towards these guys, as you can see, I start picking them up. Now, you can hold shift, and this will stop the Ring of Magnetization actually working. So you can see I'm getting closer and there's nothing's happening. As soon as I get out of shift, they start coming to me again. Now, lenses are actually a big part of Botania, but we're not going to be covering all the lenses today. But just to show you how to actually make the mana lens of magnetization, you're first going to need a mana lens, and then 1 iron ingot and 1 gold ingot. And in order to make that actual mana lens itself, you're going to need 4 ingots of mana steel and 1 glass in the center. Moving on, the next ring we have is the Ring of Mantle. This is created with 4 mana steel ingots, 1 golden pickaxe, and 1 rune of the earth. Now, what this does when equipped is going to give you the haste effect. However, this will consume mana. Unlike other things, this isn't always going to be draining your mana. Only the mana effect or the mantle haste effect will actually drain your mana when you are swinging a pickaxe. This means when you're swinging a pickaxe while breaking a block, defeating a mob, or just flailing in the air, it will always drain mana when you are actually left clicking. But besides that, obviously it's going to give you the haste effect. Next up, we have the Snowflake Pendant. This is made using 4 mana infused string, 1 mana ingot, 1 rune of water, and a rune of winter. Now, this will go in your necklace slot, so we have to actually take one of these away now. And what this does is, as you can see, it gives a trail of snow beneath your feet. As well as that, if you go over to water, it's going to freeze water in a pretty large area around you, and it's done so pretty quickly. It's as if you had Frostwalker on your boots. But as you can see, even when you're using the Planestrider Sash, things can get speeding very, very quickly, and the Snowflake necklace can actually keep up with you. Moving on, next we have the Tainted Blood Pendant. This is made using a ghast here in the center, 4 prismarine crystals, and a mana diamond. Now, by itself, you can equip this, but it won't actually do anything, but will consume mana, and it will consume mana 10 times then if you actually use this blood painted pendant in the right way. Now, what do I mean by the right way? Now, inside of Botania, there are things called brews. Brews are essentially the Botania equivalent and stronger potency of regular vanilla potions. Now, you can take these Tainted Blood Pendants and actually infuse them with specific brews. So if I look at Tainted Pendants, as you can see here, these are all the different types of pendants you can actually create. Now, when you wear one of these, it's going to give you the effect of that pendant. So here I've just got the Brew of Gills here. If I right click on here, I now get water breathing as a passive effect. Now, there are things that can be used in here. So there is one in here as well. I think it's adrenaline that is actually gives you the haste effect. Now, this goes in your necklace slot, so you could only wear 2 of these at a time. As you see here, we now get the haste effect. Now, don't get confused. You can't double up the Ring of Mantle and Tainted Blood Brew of Adrenaline necklace or pendant. It won't suddenly give you haste 3 or something. So it's just sort of an option. You can choose to use either one. In a later episode, we are going to be covering all the different brews you can get, and then we'll be able to show off what you can actually do with the blood pendant. Moving on, we now have the Tectonic Girdle. This is made with, oops, dodging there. This is made with 4 leather, 1 rune of earth, 1 rune of fire, and a mana steel ingot. Now, what this does is when you wear it, it simply goes into your sash slot, similar to your other sashes here. And what it does is it negates knockback from incoming attacks. So when a zombie hits you or something, you won't actually be knocked back by anything. Very simple stuff. Next up we have the Spectator. This is made using 5 pieces of iron ingots, 1 emerald and an Eye of Ender. Now when this is equipped it does something very cool. It lets you see whatever items in your hand is in your chest. Now what do I mean by this? If I take some grass blocks here, some dirt, nothing in this chest and some chests, as you can see I'm holding chests and it's sparkling above the chest slot. This means that there are chests inside of this. If I move over to dirt it will change, and if I move over to grass blocks it will change again. This is very handy when organizing or trying to find specific blocks in your storage room. Now this can also do other things. If you're holding say an axe or a sword of some sort, it's also going to actually start highlighting mobs even through walls that have that item equipped on them, or if it's a zombie that can hold any sort of item, if they're holding dirt then it's actually going to, you know, make a zombie that's holding dirt light up. Now as you can see there, when I drop this on the ground, whatever items that are around you and you're holding, it will also light them up as well. A couple of other things it will do: if you're trading with villagers and say you have got a massive villager trading hall and you want to trade for a load of clay, if you start holding clay in your hand, it's actually going to highlight all the different villagers that are trading clay in their inventories. And lastly, if you're playing on multiplayer, if you're holding this type of item, it's going to show and highlight players that actually have that item in their inventory. So if you want to go around maybe killing a load of people that have diamonds, hold some diamonds in your hand and you'll start seeing players that are lit up with diamonds in their inventory. Next up we've got the third eye. This is used with an Eye of Ender, 1 man of diamond, 2 blocks of quartz, 4 golden carrots and a rune of earth. Now what this does is going to allow you to see nearby mobs glow in the distance and also through walls. So this is just a very passive thing here. It just allows you to see mobs through and up and down walls. Next up we have the Tiny Planet. The Tiny Planet is made with a mana pearl, 4 living rock and any 4 types of stone. Now what this does is when equipped, it's going to actually make mana bursts around you that are fired nearby to basically just go around you. So if we have our mana wand of the forest here, as you can see here, and then we equip our Tiny Planets, let's see what slot does that go in. It goes right down here as a charm. As you can see here, I actually have 2 installed now. Now as you can see here, when our mana spreaders actually burst, it starts causing our mana to actually fly around us. Now eventually this does dissipate. I don't really know why you would want to use this. It's more of just an aesthetic sort of thing, but it's just something cool you could do. However, there are ways you could use this in other ways. So as I said, there are mana lenses on this. You could probably use some mana lenses on your mana spreader to give some pretty interesting effects around you. Now something else you can do with the Tiny Planet is if you cover it in stone, you can turn this into a physical block. Now if we place this down here, you can see that any mana spreading can actually go around the mana planet here. However, it's my Tiny Planet is overriding that. So as you can see there, now we've got this. So this can actually be used to maybe make your mana bend round corners or something instead of going through a straight line. Now after all that, I have got many different types of baubles on me, and it's getting quite you know, ugly, I would think. Now there are things you can do in this, and that is called cosmetics. Now the cosmetic trinkets, there are many different types. This is essentially a way of putting some cosmetic trinkets on your regular trinkets, giving the effects of your normal trinkets or amulets or whatever, but giving you a different look. Now there are many different types. Each one is made using a infused string and then all of the same color petals. So there are 16 different types you can see here. All of these do absolutely nothing. They just are a way of making things look a little bit nicer. Now all you have to do with these is just add them to your trinket, and then you'll be able to wear them this way instead. But for now guys, that is everything when it comes to trinkets inside of Botania. As I said, there are just a couple more left, but they are going to be in a higher tier of Botania. If this video helped you out in any way, shape or form, then please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. It would really help me out, and ring the bell button to stay notified when these videos go live. Now if you did want to know a little bit more about functional flowers, then I recommend you click on the video that's on screen now to learn all about that.